All right, so section 3.2 is addition. Section 3.3 is going to be subtraction, still working with the whole numbers. Just like we started out with the addition section, we're going to start with a definition of what subtraction is, or what it means. So for any whole numbers A and B, such that A is greater than or equal to B, A minus B is the unique whole number C, such that B plus C is equal to A. What we're going to find really quick is that there's several models for subtraction, and they mimic different things that we do when we talk about or think about how subtraction interacts with problems that we come across. But this particular definition is hearkening to the idea of what's missing. So for example, if A minus B is equal to C, what it's saying has to be true is that B plus C is equal to A. And it's probably more helpful to do that when we have numbers to give as examples. So for example, 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. Why? Well, because 4 plus 2 equals 6. And your students are going to learn these most likely, and they're going to call them fact families. Have you heard that phrase before? It's very popular. They come home and they learn all the facts within a facts family together as they're working from addition into subtraction. This is second grade stuff, okay? So this is what we define subtraction to be. Subtraction is not takeaway, although takeaway is a model for subtraction. So a lot of times, the pluses and the minuses, like my son who's in 7th grade likes to say, I'm going to do my pluses, I'm going to do my minuses. No, you're addition and subtraction. But a lot of times people use subtraction and they just say it's takeaway in the very same way. They just think of it only as that. So I'd like to take a look with you at 3 different models for subtraction. The first one is the takeaway model. Not all subtraction is takeaway, but some of it is. And this is an example of a takeaway problem that uses subtraction. Abby had 24 rocks. Eli sneaked into her room and took 5 of her rocks. How many rocks does Abby have now? Takeaway is the idea that I have something and then something is taken from it. Okay? So if I were working this particular problem, very concrete model kind of stuff like kindergarten, we would draw a picture and we'd draw 24 rocks. So draw yourself 24 rocks. You can be more creative. Mine are just going to be brown little blobs. They're not even all, they look like donuts. Pretend for a moment. All right, so here's my 24 rocks. They don't all look the same. Rocks don't all look the same, so I'm good with that. Okay, and then Eli, he sneaks in and he takes some away. In particular, it says he takes away 5, right? So here's the 5 that he sneaks out with. And a young child would literally count these up. That's where kindergarten subtraction starts, is with counting, right? So we count up the ones that remain, that are no longer that have not been taken away, and we would have 19 rocks. So we're doing it from the perspective of I have something and part of it disappears. Right? And you can do all sorts of things, and I'm not going to say anything more because you're going to do one for me in a minute. That is to create one. Let's do another one. Like I said, not everything is takeaway. The next model is called missing add-ins. Missing add-ins is the idea that I need something, I don't have it, I need something, a total number of something, and I don't have all of it yet. Have some of it, but I don't have all of it. So Lilise needs to collect 10 leaves for a school project. She and Temeskin go out and find 8 leaves. How many more leaves does Lilise need? This is not takeaway. I don't have something and something's being removed. It's not a takeaway model, but it is a subtraction model. So if I were drawing a picture for this, I would be drawing leaves, and I need to have, hang on, there we go. 8 leaves that I already have. Okay? And what I will do for the 2 that are missing, because it is 2 that are missing to get up to the right number, is I'm going to draw them dotted. Those 2 dotted ones are the ones I don't have but I need. So my answer is the dotted ones. I'm missing 2 leaves. Now, if you're moving more into a like an equation perspective, which you'd be doing as you get a little bit older, the work would look more like this. 8 plus blank equals 10. It's a missing addend, right? Remember the 2 numbers you add together are called addends, and one of them is missing. I have to figure out what that missing one is, and that number is 2. And that's happening because 10 minus 8 is 2. It's subtraction. So this is 2 leaves. I don't know if I used my words on the other one. Did I say 19 rocks? I did. Good. So as you're working with these, if there's units in the problem, you're going to write units on your answer, so you need to be paying attention to that too. The last model that your book presents is one called a number line model. Now, we had a number line model in the last section. Right? We talked about putting building materials end to end, metal and wood or something like that. So the number line model always deals with something that can be measured, but we're still using whole numbers, but it's still a measurement object. Akeem drives 15 miles to the mall. As he's on his way home, his mom calls to ask him where he is. He states that he is coming home and has driven 8 miles so far. How far is Akeem from home? So we're going to draw this as a number line, okay? And you've got Akeem's house over here, okay? And you've got the mall over here. It looks like a city, kind of. Here's my mall. And here's home. And how far is it from the mall to home? 15 miles. So 0 to 15 is my number line. That's not a very good 15. How about that? So Akeem's mom calls, and he says that he has driven 8 miles back so far. So he's somewhere along the way here. Maybe, I guess he's a little over half. My picture doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to sort of make sense, right? And this distance that he's gone along this arrow is 8 miles. And the question is, how much further does he need to go? So, how much further does he need to go? 7. So 7 miles is my answer. I've drawn this from a picture point of view, right? It is an object that has measurement, so that's why it's a number line model. But notice, in some sense, it's also a missing Addins model. Did you catch that? Now, it's not whole objects, so that's why we put it in the number line category. But what we are asking from an equation standpoint is 8 plus what equals the 15? And of course, the number that goes in this blank is my 7 miles. So it is a miles perspective with subtract, or a measurement perspective with subtraction. Okay, so here's what you're going to do in your groups. Slide over to the next page. You're going to create 3 word problems for each, or a word problem for each of the 3 models. So 1 for each. You're going to create 1 takeaway model, 1 missing add-ins model, and 1 number line measurement model. You don't need to draw the picture. You don't need to solve it. You're creating a word problem. Okay? So imagine that you were teaching the child this idea and you didn't want them to always think that subtraction is takeaway. So you were actually creating problems to show them that sometimes it's missing add-ins or sometimes it's measurement. That's the idea. So 1 problem for each of the 3 working together in a group. After everybody's had a chance to do that, we're going to come together and be prepared to share at least one of them with everybody else. Okay? Okay, I need 2 groups to volunteer for takeaway. Somebody give me a hand up. Reagan, tell us what you had.
We put Abby has 10 pieces of candy, and Joel comes and takes 3 pieces when she's not looking. How many pieces does she have now?
All right, 3 pieces or 10 pieces of candy, and somebody takes them away. Perfect. Another takeaway model. Another group. Hannah.
We said Sarah has 10 cookies. Her brother took 2 cookies. How many cookies does Sarah have left?
All right, 10 cookies, and we take 2 away. Cool. How about a missing Addins model? Yeah, Jane Ellen.
She bought 15 Civ books, but she's only bought 3. How many more does she need to buy?
Okay, we're buying books. Popular topic. Yeah, okay. And then one more, Channing?
We put Abby has to bake 8 cakes, and she bakes 5. How many does she have left?
Wow, she's baking a lot of cakes. 8 cakes, and she's baked 5. Okay, good. So we're missing something. And in my last 2 groups who haven't gone yet are going to tell me, I think that I've got 2 left. Is that true? Yeah? Number line model. So, Rylan, what you guys got?
My friend is going to Oklahoma City. The distance from her home to Oklahoma City is 20 miles. She's driven 10 miles. How many miles is she?
All right, so kind of like Akeem. He's got a certain number of miles to go, and he's gone a certain number of miles already. All right, and then over here, one of you guys.
Sarah lives 10 feet away from Brianna. Sarah's walked 5. How many more feet does Sarah need to walk to get to Brianna?
Right, so we've got a specific distance that we're walking. We've walked a portion of it so far, and we have a portion left to walk. Excellent. All right, so we're going to push pause right here on 3.2, or 3, and go back to 3.2 for group work now.